You're 24. You just got your first real paycheck. Not the internship check, not the part-time side job, the real salary. You go out to dinner, and for the first time, you don't calculate the price of every item before ordering. You upgrade your apartment. You start living like the version of yourself you imagined in college. And for a while, it feels great. Then something strange happens. 3 years pass. Your salary increases. But somehow, your bank account feels exactly the same as it did when you graduated. Every raise disappears. Every month resets back to zero. Everyone around you seems to be in the same situation, so you assume this must just be what being in your 20s feels like. But it isn't. My name is James, and today we're walking through the financial mistakes that feel completely normal right up until the moment they've quietly cost you $1 million. To explain this, I want you to meet someone. His name is Tyler. Tyler is 27. He makes $62,000 a year. He has a stable job, a social life, and from the outside, it looks like everything is going fine. He's not reckless. He's not gambling on crypto or making crazy bets. He just made a series of ordinary financial decisions, the same ones millions of people make without thinking. By the time Tyler turns 40, those decisions will have quietly cost him somewhere between $800,000 and $1.5 million in wealth he should have had. The scary part, none of those decisions felt like mistakes at the time. Let's walk through them. Mistake 1. He didn't negotiate his salary. When Tyler got his first job offer at 23, the company offered him $52,000. He immediately accepted. Negotiating felt uncomfortable. He didn't want to appear greedy, and he definitely didn't want to risk losing the job. But that one moment of discomfort avoidance is going to cost him hundreds of thousands of dollars. Economist Linda Babcock studied this exact situation and found that the lifetime difference between people who negotiate their first salary and people who don't can reach $600,000 to $1.5 million in wealth they should have had. Not because the first job pays dramatically more, but because every raise, bonus, and retirement contribution is calculated as a percentage of your base salary. A higher starting point compounds upward for decades. What makes this worse is how common the opportunity actually is. Surveys show that 76% of hiring managers say they have room to increase an offer by 5 to 10%. They simply don't bring it up unless someone asks. Meanwhile, most candidates accept the first number immediately. And the fear of losing the offer? Mostly imaginary. Nearly everyone who negotiates keeps the job. The fix is incredibly simple. Just say, I'm really excited about this role. Based on my research, I was expecting something closer to X. Is there flexibility here? 30 seconds of mild discomfort, potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars gained. Mistake 2. He treated his 20s like a practice round. Tyler told himself he'd start investing later, after the student loans, after the move, after the next raise. But that perfect moment never arrived. If Tyler had invested $300 a month starting at 22 in a basic S&P 500 index fund, by age 62 he would have roughly $1.9 million. But Tyler waited until 32. Same contribution, same investment. By 62, he ends up with about $680,000. That 10-year delay created a $1.2 million gap. Compound interest doesn't care how smart you are. It cares about one thing: time. And time is the one resource your 20s have in abundance. Right now, the median Gen Z retirement balance is around $4,800. Financial guidelines suggest having one full year of salary saved by age 30. Tyler should have about $62,000 saved. He has less than $5,000. One of the easiest ways to fix this is through employer retirement plans. If your company offers a 401k match, that's essentially free money. For Tyler, not capturing the full match cost about $1,500 a year. Over an entire career, that missed match alone can grow to hundreds of thousands of dollars, all because he never finished filling out the paperwork. Mistake 3. He bought a car he couldn't really afford. At 25, Tyler bought a new SUV. Price, $38,000. Loan, 72 months. Payment, about $650 a month. It felt manageable. and compared to the national average car payment today, it actually looks reasonable. But here's the hidden math. If Tyler invested that $650 a month instead of sending it to a bank and then left the money invested until retirement, it would grow to roughly $660,000. That's the wealth he traded for a car that started losing value the moment he drove it off the lot. A 3-year-old Honda Civic would have done the exact same job of getting him to work. The only difference would be the feeling when he walked up to it in the parking lot. Tyler's car payment is essentially a $500,000 decision disguised as a monthly expense. Mistake 4. Credit card debt quietly grew. By 26, Tyler had about $5,200 on a credit card. Nothing dramatic caused it. A move, some dinners, a flight, random online purchases. Normal life. He paid the minimum payment every month, thinking he was staying on top of things. But at 22% interest, that minimum payment schedule stretches repayment to over 30 years. The total he ends up paying isn't $5,200. It's closer to $14,000. The $200 concert ticket effectively cost him over $500. Minimum payments create the illusion of progress, but they're designed to keep you in debt as long as possible. The solution is simple. Attack the highest interest debt first. Paying off a 22% credit card is equivalent to earning a guaranteed 22% investment return. You won't find a better deal anywhere else. Mistake 5. Every raise disappeared. At 27, Tyler got a $7,000 raise. Within 4 months, it was gone. Not because he wasted it, but because of something called lifestyle creep. A slightly nicer apartment, more dinners out, a few new subscriptions. Individually, none of it felt irresponsible. Together, it absorbed the entire raise. This happens to almost everyone. Income increases and spending silently adjusts to match it. The number that actually builds wealth, the gap between what you earn and what you keep, stays the same. A simple rule helps prevent this. Whenever your income increases, automatically redirect at least half of the raise into investments before you ever see it. What never reaches your checking account can't slowly disappear into lifestyle upgrades. Mistake 6. He rented based on what he could afford. When Tyler moved apartments at 26, he had 2 options. One cost $1,450, the other cost $1,850. The second one had better lighting, a nicer layout, and felt closer to the life he wanted. So he chose it. That extra $400 per month invested over a 30-year career could grow to roughly $94,000. The difference doesn't feel huge in isolation, but compound interest multiplies every small decision. Housing is one of the most powerful financial choices you make in your 20s because it sets your cost floor. Everything else in your budget has to fit underneath it. Mistake 7. He budgeted using a number that didn't exist. Tyler's offer letter said $62,000 a year, so he divided it by 12 and planned his life around roughly $5,166 per month. Then his first paycheck arrived. After taxes, insurance, and retirement contributions, he received $3,380. The difference between those numbers, almost $1,800, had already been committed to rent, car payments, and living expenses. He started every month $500 short. That gap went straight onto a credit card. Always build your budget on net income, not gross salary. The gross number is for conversations. The net number is what actually runs your life. Mistake 8. He spent money keeping up with broke people. Tyler's friends looked like they were doing well. Nice dinners, frequent trips, stylish apartments. It all looked effortless. What he didn't see were the credit cards funding most of it. One friend had 2 cards nearly maxed out. Another financed vacations at 24% interest. Someone else was spending over half their income on rent. Everyone was performing success. Very few were actually building it. Research shows over half of Americans admit social media influences their spending. The wealth that's real is usually invisible. The people actually building it aren't posting about it. They're quietly investing while everyone else is funding appearances. Mistake 9. He ignored his credit score. Tyler rarely thought about his credit score, until it mattered. When he applied for a new apartment at 28, his score was 631. He still got the place, but had to pay an extra security deposit. Then he tried to refinance his car loan. His rate came back at 13.4%. A coworker with a strong credit score received 6.1% for the same loan. That difference cost Tyler nearly $5,000 in extra interest. Your credit score isn't a moral judgment. It's simply a financial tool. Pay bills on time, keep credit utilization below 30%, and maintain accounts consistently. Those simple habits save tens of thousands over a lifetime. Mistake 10. Forgotten subscriptions. Tyler believed he spent around $80 a month on subscriptions. When he finally checked, it was $230. Streaming services, cloud storage, unused apps, an old gym membership, and a few free trials he never canceled. The unnoticed difference, about $150 a month, equals $1,800 a year. Invested over 30 years, that becomes roughly $339,000. From a meditation app and a streaming service he forgot about. Add everything together and Tyler didn't make one catastrophic mistake. He simply did what most people around him were doing. But those small decisions quietly added up to millions of dollars in lost wealth. And here's the uncomfortable truth. The financial system around you isn't designed to make this easy. Car dealerships profit when you finance more. Credit card companies profit when you carry a balance. Social media profits when you compare your life to everyone else's highlight reel. No one involved has an incentive to explain the math behind these decisions. But the math is simple. Every dollar invested in your 20s can become $10 or $15 later. Every dollar spent on debt, interest, or forgotten subscriptions disappears. Tyler will eventually figure this out, but he'll probably realize it at 35 or 38, which means he'll spend his 40s rebuilding the position his 20s quietly eroded. You don't have to follow that path. Financial freedom rarely comes from dramatic moves. It comes from small, ordinary decisions made consistently while everyone else plans to start next year. Your 20s are not a practice round. The clock is already running. Start now.